Hey everybody, how you going? Bryn Smyth here. Welcome to the Bryn Smyth Music Workshop. Today I'm going to be talking about looping. Now, what is looping? Looping is basically recording like a bass line or a chord progression or a melody or whatever it is, basically a sample, and what you're doing is you're playing that particular recorded sample over and over again, so it seems like it's in like a looping continuous motion. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So why loop? Basically, I use it mainly for, I use it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I use it as a compositional tool, so it's really cool to get a repetitive bass line going so you can play melodies on top of it, pretty much almost like being your own band sort of thing. So, and it also helps trying to gather ideas for, chords, melodies, progressions, anything like that. They can play over a particular riff or a bass line or anything like that. The other reason why I like to use these loopers is also for a practice thing. So, almost for the same reasons as a compositional thing. If I wanted to practice some scales or modes over a particular chord or a bass line or anything like that, I put it in loop mode and I can just play whatever on top of it. So to do looping, it does require to have an incredible precise amount of timing, like timing ability. You really need to be spot on with it. Even I'm not perfect. I could get close enough, but it depends. It depends how much I've been playing and what time of night it is also. So I've already prepared a loop that I did earlier, so I'm going to be using that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and make it into some sort of compositional, almost like a compositional demo. So I've got this repetitive sample here, which is like a percussive bass sort of thing. Well, almost percussive bass, very funky. Using that as the bottom track of it. From then, I'm going to be doing the. I'm going to be putting in like a bass line, I'm going to be putting in some chords, some melodies, some kind of licks here and there, and I want to try and put in almost like a chorus, bridge, chorus sort of thing, or a chorus, verse, chorus sort of thing. So I'm going to be playing around with a few effects here as well, which I'll show you soon. If you wanted to check out some videos on looping, I highly suggest checking out Reggie Watt, mainly because what he can do, he just uses his voice for his loops as well, so he doesn't use any instruments. Everything he does is all done by his vocals, so I highly recommend checking him out, and he's a pretty funny, cool dude as well. In terms of loopers themselves, a couple of ones you could try. I'm using a Stereo Memory Man with Hazari by Electro Harmonics. It's a delay pedal, but it's also got a looper in it, and I primarily use it for the looper function. But you could also try out, or Electro Harmonics have made another one. It's the 45,000, I think it is, or the FX45000, something like that. Check it out. It seems pretty cool. Don't know how it would do as a stum box, but it's worth checking out. Otherwise, I think I think it's TC Electronics do the, well, they've got a Ditto looper they just released, and that's just like a really minuscule sort of pedal. It's only like about that big, if that, one knob, but yeah, it's supposed to be really, really cool for what it's worth. But there's also, what was it called? I think it was the feedback, or I don't know, but it was they released another one, which was a, yeah, it was a delay and a looper in one, but it's the looping capabilities on that one were actually quite cool too. I'll have to check it out or put up a comment on the video at some point when I remember. Anyway, without further ado, I'll put you onto my effects. This is what I'm going to be using. Basically, most of my set here. So I've got everything from, let's see if you can see everything. Using the wah envelope filter compressor, which is always on. The bass big muff, bass overdrive, phaser, flanger, digital delay, and I'm using the Hazari as a looper, not as a delay this time. So what I'll do, I'll keep the video focused on the effects there, just to get you to see what I'm actually playing with and how I use these pedals. And what I'll do, I'll kick on this bass line and I'll get started on doing a couple of loops. And that's how that goes. Yeah, so using pedals is actually really, really fun to do. Like, once you get that initial timing on there, it's fantastic. You know, you can play around with so many ideas. You know, playing with a loop, with stuff like that, within 10 minutes you can come up with ideas you never thought you'd be able to come up with off the top of your head. You know, think about, you know, having that loop, you know, meditating on that loop for about an hour. Imagine all the ideas and stuff that you could come up with that amount of time. So this is why I recommend using a loop pedal. It brings out so many ideas that you can use for songs, that you can use for compositions, that you can use for training techniques or anything like that. You can experiment as much as you want, and you've still got that loop in there, and it's just fantastic. It's a really, really cool thing to do. So that's the video there. Enjoy yourselves.